Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's your main man, aka Crazy Crockett, aka Andre's Podcast. Folks, I am back. Yeah, I'm going to speak to my people out there, my disability people out there. I made a post about 5 days ago about how much I didn't like my life, and I just was frustrated about my life. And my frustration about my life is really not about being disabled, but it's more about not being able to progress with my disability. So a lot of you people out there with disability, some of you, and I hope most of us, have a certain skill or talent or something that we can have, and then we progress our lives and live as normal as a life as possible. However, most of us, if not all of us, our disability will really restrain us from being able to succeed at anything that we want to do. So some of us have MD, some of us have MS. I've had a stroke, cerebral palsy from the time of my birth. Don't know if I was between the times of childbirth or after childbirth, or could be an abandonment. My mom abandoned me. I'm not going to get into that story because it took way too long for me to explain it when I pre-recorded this the first time. So that's not important. The important thing about it is that a lot of times, if you're disabled, you're supposed to be happy with your disability, right? And your happiness is supposed to be like, oh, you're supposed to be happy to be alive. People remind you that you're supposed to love the idea that people love you and people respect you, and you have family and friends, you have a system that takes care of you. But that's not really a system. That's just people who are related to you, right? Those are the people that were your siblings. Some of you were adopted and some of you were not. I was adopted, all right? So, but their intentions isn't really always a good intentions. Their intentions is maybe more protection or now this over parenting of the skill level that your birth parents or your adopted parents passed away, and now it's their job to be your parent, and you don't want none of that. And that's what's happening to me, right? So someday I'll get into that a little bit. But I wanted to make a post because I made a post on Reddit, and I really didn't like my life at all. And I made a post the next day to make sure that people understood that I really didn't want to do bodily harm to myself. So I put this on Reddit, on disability Reddit, on that platform for disability. And I had a lot of responses. And I hope that this response to Reddit and wherever I post this, I also do Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I also do it on YouTube. I do on the Patreon. But the disability that we are talking about is something that we can't really get over sometimes because we're not all created equal. Some people are gay, and some people are LGBTQ, and some people are black. Some people are Arabic, and some people are Asian, and some people are white. But those characteristics we can always overlook, and they're not really considered a disability. Even the blacks can't call themselves disabled because of the economy of what happened to them in slavery. That's just something in that time period frame 300, 400 years ago that happened, and only 150 years of post-Civil War. But that's still not a disability. Your complexion of your skin isn't what's going to keep you down. It's your mindset of not getting anything done for yourself or education or any of that is what's your disability. Our disability has to do with cognitive intelligence, physical disability. Some of us have the double whammy. I have a double whammy. I have a physical disability with my left side through a stroke or whatever happened when I was a child. And I also have some form of learning disability that has affected my way of learning, retaining new information, being organized in my own mindset to put it on in a paper or an essay or whatever I need to do to graduate any type of high school or college. And because I could not do that, I was in a jam of working, and I'm still in a jam, where I'm working jobs that are very not rewarding. They are very high school level jobs in receiving and shipping, and some of them are customer service of delivering food to patients at hospitals or at or rehab centers. But those jobs not really much payable. But what you, as a disabled person, also struggle with, and I can agree and I can hear you out, is that loneliness and depression and kind of a sense of not getting anywhere. So, small story straight, as a young man, I was always into girls, and some girls liked me, and most of them didn't because of my disability. But the ones that did like me, they would kind of be flaky and they kind of dumb about it, and they would pretend not to like me or like me or whatever. And then as you want to progress in that relationship or getting to know that person, it would be a cutoff. There'd be a cutoff system in their mindset and their brain set that would happen, and you would catch on to it, and then they would disappear. The girl would disappear. Some of you people will have that same scenario. I would love to talk to you about it, and I would love to talk to you about people with disability that do have a relationship with their spouse and how the success stories of that. So I started a podcast a couple of years ago for that purpose, so that people like me with disability have a source of an avenue to express our thoughts and ideas. I don't have a lot of friends who are disabled, so I don't have a lot of bouncing ideas to talk to them about their disability. And I don't have a community of people with disability that we can talk about it. We just don't have that. So I created this thought and say, hey, I'm going to do this on a podcast. I'm going to do this on a YouTube page. And I started my YouTube page not a long time ago. Just recently, I reopened that up. So what I want from you is I want you to give me a feedback, and I want you to maybe be my guest on my podcast. I feel like you and I could connect. And if we make this an opportunity to spread our word and our thoughts and ideas, it could help both of us out, male or female. And that's why this is why I'm recording this podcast. I recorded this podcast, I recorded this episode so that the people on Reddit would know who I am more of. And I may go back to the story of how I was born and my birth parents and being adopted and life lessons I've learned and so on, so forth. But thank you for popping in. It's only a 10-minute podcast episode. It's only a 10-minute YouTube episode. So if you have any questions, let me know. Give me your feedback. God bless. I hope everyone out there has a fantastic day, weekend, anything that you feel like you need to express your thoughts and ideas, that you need to bounce it off somebody. I'm that guy for you. So you can listen to the Crazy Dre podcast show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can watch me on YouTube, Patreon. You can watch me anywhere you want to watch me at. Peace, love, and happiness, folks. God bless.